I think I'm about to overload you with the amount of suggestions I'm going to give you. So get a notepad, get a pen, and get ready to write down this list.
Yapping Fever.
Hello, welcome to Yapping Fever, the podcast about all things 20s, careers, dreams, chaos, growth, and the realness of adulting. I'm your host Tamara, and let's get into today's yap. Hi guys, it's already been 2 weeks. That went by very fast. And also wasn't long enough. Today's episode, I am hoping I'm going to bring some positivity and some light into your life. I hope it makes you feel good. Today, we're going to talk about feel-good media. I want to talk about the media that I'm consuming that is bringing positivity and lighthearted stuff into my life rather than bringing my mood down. I do think with the amount of media that we consume as a society, sometimes it's quite dark or quite intense, or there's a lot going on. And I feel as though I've been wanting to distance myself from those type of media and like really get off social media. So I've kind of searched through what I follow and what I am reaching out to try and consume that is a bit more happy and a bit more carefree and even funny. There's even some funny things. So that's what we're going to break down today. We're going to break down a list of things that I think is some good feel-good media. We're going to cross over all types of different media, from like social media to podcasts to films, movies, TV, even like books. And I'm going to tell you the ones that I think are good. I normally start my podcast episodes with a creative recommendation. Today, the creative recommendation is just to take one thing from this list and watch it, listen to it, read it in the next 2 weeks. It can be anything. It can be like one video from a social media account that I suggest, which would probably be like 30 seconds to watch. Or it can be like a movie that you think you might enjoy, or you might even have watched before but want to rewatch. There's nothing wrong with comfort movies. I think that they're really good at making you feel happy and making you kind of forget about the troubles in the world or in your own like headspace. I feel like if you're feeling overwhelmed or stuff, just like mental health isn't going great, I feel like it's no fun than like jumping on social media and being dragged down more, or watching a movie that's like psychological. Sometimes you just want like something that feels like giving you a hug. And that is exactly what I'm going to try and do today. So starting off today, we're going to talk about short form media. And these are the Instagram, TikTok accounts that are bringing more joy into my everyday life that I think you should have a look at, watch some videos, even follow if you like their content too. So starting off is the TikTok or Instagram account, A Mug of Life. This is made by Will. I don't know Will's last name, but he's a filmmaker from England, and he walks around England and actually all of Britain. I think he's been to like Ireland and Scotland, and he talks to strangers, and he literally goes up to them and he's like, would you like a cup of tea? And most of the time people are like, what the fuck, no. And then he quickly explains, I'm a filmmaker and I just like to talk to people about their life. And it's really wholesome, I think, because as soon as he says that and as soon as they sit down and they start sharing a cup of tea, you can just see that like the other person, I feel like, needed a chat, needed some human connection, and they have some inspiring stories. He meets people from all over who've all been through different things or have different stories. And it's really inspiring to me that everyone he talks to really open up. And they just are so willingly to talk about their life. If it's the struggles they've been through, because like, it's not like, even though it's like a feel good Instagram account, it's not lighthearted stuff. Like, I feel like he'll ask something like, what's the best piece of advice that you could give? Or like, what's something amazing that you've learned in your life? And they normally come out saying something like typical, like, oh, like you should live for every moment. But that is because they had a husband and the husband died really young, and then they realized they were like, had to do life by themselves, and maybe they should have spent more time with people they love. I don't know, just like it's always goes really deep, but in like the best way. And yeah, I just think human connection is really important, especially in a world where we are run by social media and just media in all forms. I don't know anyone who can go through the day without connecting in media. The TV is always on in the morning. If you're watching the news, you pick up your phone straight away and scroll social media. You get home at night and you watch your favorite TV shows, or you watch a new movie. Like, we're a society that is controlled and dictated by technology and by media. So it's nice when there's just like some human connection. And I think this Instagram and TikTok account does it really well. The next one is Samuel Donner. This is the same type of vibe as though he talks to strangers, and he holds out $100 cash in front of the camera when he starts all videos, and he goes up to people and he says, will you cook for me for $100? And I love these videos. I only recently discovered Samuel's account, and it is so good. I think he's really good at connecting with strangers. He's really good at talking. And again, he meets such interesting people. He literally travels around the entire world and gets strangers to cook meals for him. I've seen videos of him in Alaska where it's like freezing cold, and he ends up on like a fisherman boat because he asks someone like, would you cook for me? And they're like, oh yeah, come on, meet the crew, like we'll cook for you. And it's really cool. It's such a cool like idea to make like a content around that. And you just meet, again, people from all different areas of life. There was like a one that went major viral on TikTok, which was where he was in Australia and he asked this like lady, I think in Sydney, and she cooked for him. I think Samuel was with his sister. And her life story, the person who cooked for him, was so moving, so amazing. I just think it's such a cool idea. And he's really good at asking questions. Like, he'll look around a house and he'll be like, I watched one the other day and this guy was from Hawaii and he was like, you play the ukulele, like, can you play it for me? Like, I need to like see that side of you. And then he like will dance in the kitchen with strangers, and it's just, yeah, again, human connection. I feel like I'm really striving for that type of stuff in my media at the moment. The next one is Paul and Matthew. Their social media account I really like. They also have a guide dog called Maple. For some context, Paul is 95% blind and he has pinhole vision, and Matthew is his husband, and they started posting about their life on social media. So their TikTok account is a little bit more like not always lighthearted stuff, because they talk about the realness of life and the struggles that they both have gone through, which I also think is very important. However, the content that I love from them the most is the pranks. Matthew pranks Paul quite frequently, and they're so funny. Paul is the one who, like I said, is blind, so these pranks are still like harmless and lighthearted, and they wouldn't hurt Paul, or they're not like in a way to make him embarrassed, because of course he would struggle with like, you know, there's things that he struggles with more than people, so it's never to like call him out or embarrass him. It's just like funny things. There was one I watched recently and Matthew made dinner, and when he gave Paul the plate, he kept pinching all his like steak and giving Paul like his broccoli, so he didn't have to eat his broccoli. And it takes like Paul quite a while to realize, and then it's always like a laughter at the end. And I know that probably doesn't sound like very funny or like a prank, but like when you watch these two interact, I just think it's done really well, and the pranks are really funny. The other ones are like Matthew would dress up around the house in like a inflatable dinosaur, inflatable Christmas tree, and he'll wait until Paul sees him, because eventually like he will, and then it's always like laughter. There was one where like Matthew bought all these soft toys in the shower, and then when Paul opened the shower door, all these soft toys fell on him, but he didn't realize until he opened the shower door. So it's like lighthearted, funny things, and I just think these two have a great vibe, and the content that they put out like is really funny and also really interesting. The next one is Sam Bentley. He does good news stories. I seem to pop up on my TikTok sometimes, and I love it, because I do think that the news is really good at being negative, at being detrimental, in making you feel angry and kind of igniting fear in you. And this guy literally just talks about things that are doing well in the world, and he always starts his videos like, here's some good news you might have missed. and he gives some facts. I'm going to give you some on his recent video about good news from February. Apparently Colombia is on track to drop more in deforestation. They've already declined a lot in 2025 and they're expected to drop another 25%. Brazil has eliminated mother-to-child transmissions of HIV. In Indonesia, a conservation group is fighting to save the last great rainforest in Southeast Asia. This is a rainforest where elephants, tigers, rhinos, and orangutans still roam free together in the wild. What good news. And like, they're not like lighthearted things like, oh, a puppy was adopted. Like, they're really serious things and they're serious topics, but it's like a better side to it rather than hearing all the negative side of the news. My next one for you is Molly Carlson. I really like Molly. She, again, is like someone who's more of an influencer. She shares a lot of her life, so it might not always be positive, but she's actually a RedBull cliff diver. And for people who don't know, I grew up diving, so I love watching her content. I think it's really good. I also think because I think she's doing such scary things, you like forget about your troubles and you forget about your own stuff and you're like, no way is she gonna like dive off that tiny platform. And yeah, she has like a thing called Brave Gang, and where she like lifts people up and like tells everyone you can be brave. And I think she has a great positivity vibe to her. For context, again, I love platform diving over springboard diving. So platform is like the concrete slabs and like the higher you go. But you would never, ever catch me flipping off at a 20 meter. And that girl does it daily. She just goes and flips off 20 meters. She actually recently she slipped running off a diving board and she like bruised the whole entire bottom of her foot. And then it took her 6 months to get back up, like onto that 20 meters. Because she slipped and then fell into the water, and that was scary. But besides that, her content is really interesting and really cool, and you just get to watch her like flip off the dive board and talk about being brave and being positive. And she also like flies all around the world. I think they're in Bali to do like cliff diving off where that national park is, and they're literally cliff diving like on a tiny little edge of the cliff, like with a tree right behind them. And I think they're standing on a tree root, which I don't think would be very even. And a nice feeling. But I love her stuff. And then the last one is We Rate Dogs. This guy, he does like a weekly roundup of dogs and how they were. We'll send him dog videos and he rates them. And he always starts their videos being like, the dogs were good again this week. And then he'll like play videos of dogs doing silly things, of dog doing funny things, of even like dogs helping people and saving lives. Yeah, it's just all these dog videos. And then he also has like merch and you can donate, and then they help like do surgeries for dogs that people can't afford and like help save lives, dog lives. But yeah, they brought all their money to charity to help out dogs in need and like rescue dogs, which I think is brilliant and fantastic. And half the dog videos are so funny. So they're all my good social media accounts that I just think spread a bit more lighthearted fun, positivity, and just some like wholesome media for you if you do want to tune into any of them. We're now moving on to long form media. This is feel good media in a longer form that takes a bit more than like your 30 seconds to 5-minute TikTok videos. The next section is podcasts. Podcasts are great. I would know, I have one. And I think there's some really lighthearted podcasts and podcasts that are bringing me joy. For context, my favorite podcast is Shameless. They're by two Melbourne writers, Michelle Andrews and Zara McDonald. And I really like their stuff. I do tune in the most frequently to them pretty much every week. They drop 3 times a week now, so it is a lot, but really like their stuff. However, because they talk about like stuff that's happening in real time and they touch on celebrity stories and things that are taking over the media, I feel as though some of that stuff in the media has been a little bit negative or just like not positive. Not that that's a bad thing, but I've been like, I want to go for a walk and I'm going to listen to a podcast to do like my hot girl walk, and I put my earphones in and I come back angrier than when I started a walk, because, and it's nothing to do with the girls who are running the podcast, it's to do with like the articles they're talking about and like the media that's going on and stuff, and I just feel like it's not helping me relax. Instead it's like making me more upset or more angry, and I come home and I find out I have to do this massive rant about something. I was thinking about that and I was like, I want to listen to more that actually going to help me clear my mind and are actually going to make me feel good when I go on a walk, because that's when I do want to clear my own headspace and not come back more stressed than when I started a walk. So I've collected some of the podcasts that I've been listening to. Some of these I'm really new to listening to as well, but I just feel like, they've been, really like lighthearted. Some of them have been really funny. I think it's quite hard to make you laugh sometimes on a podcast if you're just listening to it. Like there's no visual element to it. And if you are laughing while listening, I think it's doing a great job. The first one is Good Hang with Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler, you probably do know her. She's definitely a celebrity herself, but she also interviews celebrities. Amy is really known for doing SNL, I think like early 2000s, and she's also in Parks and Recs. And she's also known to be like the comedy duo with Tina Fey. And this is Amy's podcast, and she interviews celebrities and they're funny. She's a really good host. She's really good at, I think, making her guests laugh, at making them talk about things, not just their projects that they're working on, because like they're celebrities, they're in there to do a press tour, but also just about life or about their whole careers. Jennifer Lawrence's episode was really good. Jonathan Groff's episode was really good. He was literally like laughing with her the entire time. And she always ends her interviews with what is something recently that is making you laugh. Like what is something you're watching that helps you laugh, and like, I think like she's trying to like de-stress and help you relax. And I like how those interviews ended, because then the guest always gives something that like they enjoy. And it's more like lighthearted things. It never gets too serious. The next one is Twinhood with Maisie and Ella Peters. I haven't listened to many episodes of this, but I'm a huge Maisie Peters fan in terms of her music, and she started a podcast last year with her twin sister, and I've been dying to listen to her. I just haven't got around to it, and this last 2 weeks has just been the perfect time, and damn, it's good. I really like it. It's for the girls. It's really for the girls. They just talk about their life. They talk about they play like Never Have I Ever in the first episode. They then get people to send in dilemmas and they give advice. They've got good chat because they're twins, and they're really different as well. Like they've got quite unique personalities, and it really works well for a podcast. So I'm really liking it. Again, it's lighthearted, it's funny. I actually laughed out loud a few times. I think it's really interesting as well, if you do like Maisie, to hear like what she talks about on this podcast, and like her side of her life with like her sister, and even her talking about like her job, like the way she'll talk about, this is like something came on the podcast. She's like, how I sleep on like a tour is like, we finish at 10:30 and then I like talk to the band for like half an hour to an hour, and I eat some crisps, and then I'll like watch a video, and then I don't get to bed till like 2 a.m. And even like that was like really interesting, because like, she's a singer, but like I don't know what she does after her show wraps. So that was really cool. I'm really liking that one. I definitely will be tuning in more frequently. The next one is Dinners on Me with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. Again, Jesse himself is a celebrity. He is mostly known for being on Modern Family and playing Mitchell. Hilarious character. And this is a podcast where he introduced celebrities as well. I love it because he interviews Modern Family cast, and I love Modern Family. But I think it's a really good take on a podcast. He always does it in like a public setting. He goes out to restaurants and then he'll film in a restaurant. You'll hear like the waiter talking about like the specials and what they recommend, and then they'll order food and they'll eat. He's definitely a foodie himself, and he'll talk about his like favorite types of food and why he chose this restaurant for that guest. And then they just have a chat about life. And I think it's done really well. I've definitely listened to a few of his episodes. The next one is Normal Gossip. This is lighthearted gossip that's like fun, and they say it's gossip from the real world. Again, I haven't listened to this one much, only just dipping my toes into it, but it's highly recommended, because I think it's like gossip that's funny, gossip that's not detrimental or gonna hurt anyone's like career or lifestyle or like being mean to people. It's just funny gossip that you get to listen to and you get to laugh about. And the one episode that I was listening to today was pretty funny. Like, I was like, as if this is happening, like, oh my God. And it just makes you like forget about your troubles and real life problems, because it's like a light-hearted little laugh sesh for 50 minutes to an hour. And the one I listened to today, she had like a special guest on as well. And the guest she had on was hilarious. So I think like she doesn't, the host always gets on like people to talk about the gossip with. And I think that's a good vibe as well. So that one's normal gossip. And then my last one is actually on YouTube, but it's Royal Court with Brittany Broski. This is so funny. Again, I've only just discovered this. Oh, like I knew it from TikTok, like I've seen little snippets, but I've never like sat down and watched full episodes. Go watch the Harry Styles episode. It's really funny. Harry Styles is funny. Like, I didn't know that he was that funny. I really like his music, but I'm not much in his lore. And yeah, he was like cracking jokes back and forth. The Royal Court is where she like literally dresses up in like medieval times. Her guests come on and they answer questions to see if they make it in the Royal Court, and then they have to draw like their little flag. It's just funny. It's just like a bit, she's hilarious. I think she does it really well. Again, really interesting concept for a YouTube channel or podcast. I'm not sure 100% what she would call it, like a podcast or a YouTube channel, but they're also short, like 15 to 25 minutes, I feel, which is nice because sometimes podcasts are long and that can be a lot. It can be a lot. This is like a quick video and you can choose your favorite guest. The thing I love about like celebrity interviews is you don't have to watch them all. You can just like pick and choose who you like. So yeah, Royal Court with Brittany Broski. Hilarious. I was cracking up. I was really surprised because I had to know TikTok and I've just never opted into it, and it's popular for a reason, guys. The next section is books and also one newspaper subscription. The first thing I want to talk about is a newspaper subscription. This, you just subscribe online, comes to your email inbox if you're interested, and it's called Fix the News. It is really similar to what I mentioned above about like giving good news stories. It just does it in a like article way instead. It reaches 195 countries and it's created in Melbourne, and I think every week they give 12 to 15 stories of good news around the world. Again, really serious stories. Something that they've said from their own website that I'm going to read out is, there's a lot of good news out there, we just don't hear about it. Not feel-good stories about pets and barbershops, but real big picture stories about public health victories, rising living standards, human rights wins, conservation, clean energy, and scientific breakthroughs. Most mainstream outlets miss this stuff. So that's what they report on. All the important good things, but might be like slower news. And I think that is really good. And yeah, I definitely think if you're someone who likes the news, you should subscribe to that to make sure you get your daily dose of good news as well. Some books that I have read over the years that I think are wholesome, feel good, and hopefully will put you in a good mood. Number one is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I love all Emily Henry's books. To be honest, my favorite is this one and People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation just became a Netflix movie if anyone's interested. I'm not gonna lie, the book was better, but that's always the case, isn't it? But Book Lovers is the other one that's, I would say, is even more like widely loved than People We Meet on Vacation. And it's about these two authors and they fall in love. It's a typical rom-com, but it's really good. The next one is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is an autobiography, so a bit different to just like a classical fiction rom-com, but I like it. There's some like real stuff in there and some emotional things, but I think at the end of the day, it's a really good read, especially if you're a woman. It's like a woman's book. One of her most famous quotes from that book is, "Nearly everything I know about love I've learned from my long-term friendships with women." And she talks a lot about the like platonic relationships that you have with your friends as girls. And she wrote this when like a relationship between her and her best friend was changing because her best friend got a boyfriend. And I just think it's a good book, a really good like insight to being a woman. And I can think it can make you feel less alone I think sometimes autobiographies written by women and talking about like girlhood is nice if you do feel a bit lost or you do feel a bit alone. You can kind of like, okay, I'm not the only one. The next one is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This was like a young adult book, so it won't be for everyone, but I read it so quickly. It's a bit like a Groundhog Day book. She gets trapped in the same day, and she just like, shit gets crazier, and she's always trapped with like this guy from school. I can't remember if the guy from school is a guy she doesn't like or a guy she has a crush on straight away, but I remember it being like a little cute book, you know, a little giggly, like kicking your feet book. So that one. The next one is One Good Thing by Alexander Potter. My mum recommended this book for me. She read it and said I had to read it. I'm not gonna lie, I bawled my eyes out in it because there's the first two chapters, like there's this chapter and it talks about an old man and his wife has dementia, and that just ripped my heart out. But besides that part, great book. It really is a feel-good book. It's about a dog, Harry, and how he makes everyone's life that he interacts with just that little bit better. He's adopted by a lady who's going through a divorce, and then her life gets so much better because she gets to look forward to looking after Harry. He makes the old man's life happy because the old man now thinks he has a friend in Harry when his wife's going through dementia. Connects with everyone, the dog. So good. It's really nice. You should read it. But yeah, there's some good books that I really like, and if you're looking for a book to read that's more lighthearted, especially if like you're someone who doesn't want to change like their social media feed, or like is really interested in like the news or watching like crime shows, which is totally fine. I just think you should have something in your life that's in a form of media that's positive, and I think that can come from a book. This next section is TV shows. I love a good TV show. I love a good show that like comfort show, I guess I'm trying to say, show that you can come back to, a show that you can watch that you know is just going to be good for the soul and not make you worry about anything. Starting off, Modern Family. I think Modern Family is a brilliant sitcom because it doesn't get too deep. Not that like all of them do, but if you've ever seen How I Met Your Mother, it's a great sitcom until literally the last season when you meet the like mother, and then her like it's a tragic story, and I was a mess. So I feel like Modern Family doesn't have that like as dramatic ending, and it's just a bit more lighthearted. I also like Modern Family is 10 seasons, or like maybe more, maybe it was like 13 seasons, but you can watch any random episode at any time, and I think it's funny. I just think it's like funny as. So I'm a big Modern Family girl. I think last year, or year before, I binged all 10 to 13 seasons, how many seasons there are. And I've never seen it through, like, I've always just seen it like, you know, randomly on TV, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like it. And I was like, no, I want to sit down and watch it. Again, I think I was going through a time in my life where I was like, I just need like feel good media. So that's what I did. I binged it, sat through all 13 seasons, and then 3 months later, I rewatched the whole thing again. Like, that's how good it is. In a year, I watched 13 seasons twice. That's 16 seasons of TV. That's crazy. And it's not like you forget any storylines when it's 3 months later. But that's how good it is. Also, the episodes are like 20 minutes. Love a quick episode sometime. Because like, you can watch it before bed. Because you know what happens, guys? This is what happens. You're like, oh, I'll just watch one episode, right? It's never one episode. But if it's a 45-minute episode, you're then watching 90 minutes of TV when you were supposed to go to bed probably 90 minutes ago. But when it's 20 minutes and you watch 2 episodes, it's only 40. And God forbid you watch 3, it's still shorter than 2 episodes of your 45 minutes. It's an hour. And you probably, it's better, is what I'm trying to say. Another short TV show that's like 20-minute episodes is Dairy Girls. Dairy Girls is hilarious if you haven't seen it. It's very popular because of its accent. It's based in Dairy Island, and it's about 4 teenage girls. It's an adult show, but it's about 4 teenage girls and then James, the male sidekick who's the cousin, and their adventures growing up in Derry, and how they're trying to get through the world. And there's some hilarious things. People love the character of Sister Michael. She's hilarious. There's also the priest in it. Even the parents are really funny. Yeah, it's just like a funny show. The next one is very popular at the moment because it's currently streaming its 4th season, and it's Bridgerton. I love Bridgerton. I really do. I know some people who don't love it as much, but I just think like period pieces can really help you escape from the world and help you forget about this modern world. I think Bridgerton does it really well, and I think their storylines are really good. I know it's like romance and pretty, like, you know who they're gonna end up with, but doesn't matter. I'm sat, I'm watching. Season 4, I'm loving. My favorite season would be season 2. I reckon season 4 is probably my second favorite. I'm really liking this storyline. I think it's really good. Season 1 was good, but I can't remember. I probably need to rewatch season 1. I've rewatched season 2 a few times. Didn't love season 3. I loved Eloise's storyline in season 3. She's not having like as much focus in season 4, which is a little bit sad. I feel like her stuff's a little bit repetitive in season 4, but I think her season's next, so that's fine. But I didn't love the whole of season 3. Sorry. But I'm glad that like it came back for season 4. I was a little bit worried because season 3 wasn't the best. I was like, maybe it's gonna drop off. And no, it's just like skyrocketed. And I'm loving season 4. Bridgerton, I think, is such a good show. I think after season 4, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing. Just need some lightheartedness, period pieces. The next one is Good Girls. I think this TV show is really funny. I watched it through twice. I think there's a few seasons. The first season's probably the best. And the pilot episode, I think, is really good. It's about these 3 mothers and they're having some money problems. So they decide to go on a heist and rob their local supermarket, thinking that they'll only be able to get like $5,000 each, and then it can kind of go like under the radar. And they fuck up because they end up with like 200 grand, and then they're freaking out there's too much money, and then they go into like counterfeit making money. It's just really funny. They have to start like working for a drug lord. I think it's done well. Yeah, it cracks me up. What's the pilot if you like want a comedy drama show? I think it's on Netflix. And the last one is just a little bit of a throwback to my childhood, but H2O, Lucy Liu will understand. And I also love Girls World. Girls World episodes are, I think, full-length episodes on YouTube if you are keen. H2O is the mermaid show that most Gen Zers and late millennials grew up with, especially if you're in Australia. Classic. It's where the famous TikTok meme, "I know, Cleo," comes from, and how everyone says, Australians say no, like no. It's a very Queenslander accent, that one, but it's so good because it's a mermaid show, and I don't have anything more to say with that. Ricky, Cleo, Emma. The 3rd season's not as good because Emma leaves because she has to go film Vampire Diaries. But Emma wasn't my favorite character anyway, to be honest. TBH was really good. Girls World was also a dance show about these 3 girls, and they can like travel through cyberspace, and they all live over the world. So it's like Australia, Germany, and Singapore, and then they all catch up to dance in cyberspace to like practice their routines, and then they like go stay at each other's houses all over the world. That was really cool. And that's got Marnie Kennedy in it, who I love. She was like a prominent young child actor in Australia. You'd know her from Mortified, you'd know her from Girls World. I think she's in another show as well. She's very, very well known. She's mostly known for Mortified, Taylor Fry. But yeah, love her, love that show. So they're my TV shows that are like a bit more feel good, but also like a bit of everything. Kind of gave you a variety, I think. And then moving on to movies, our feel-good movies. Most of these are rom-coms because I think that's literally the point of a rom-com. But I'll give you some that I really like and that I go back to when I feel like I need a little bit of a pick-me-up. Number 1 is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Classic rom-com. So funny. Could watch it over and over, and I still feel like it has moments where you laugh out loud. Really good. The chemistry between Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson is palpable. Kate Hudson is so funny in this movie. The fact that she just keeps getting crazier and crazier. it's got the hair theory in this movie. I don't know if anyone knows this, or if I don't think I've mentioned this in the podcast before, but especially 2000s movie, there was this thing called the hair theory, and it was literally like when a woman changed her hair, it was like when she became more her natural self. And you will notice that Kate Hudson in this movie, she has really like straight hair when she's like working at the magazine, and then when she's toiling with Ben, who's Matthew McConaughey's character, and then they go away for that weekend where they play bullshit with Ben's family, and her hair goes curly, and it's when she's like her truest self. It's a hair care theory. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else has heard of that theory. It's done, like, it's not just that movie, like it's done quite prominently in lots of like romance movies in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Anyway, great movie. My favorite scene was I don't think I could ever get over the love fern scene. I think that is so funny. And she's like, you just killed our love fern. It was our baby. The basketball scene is great too. It's just perfection. There's lots of good early 2000 rom-coms, to be honest, that are really good, that like make me happy, and that's just one of them. The next one is Monte Carlo. If you know me personally, you know I love this movie. I could quote it to you. I literally think I could sit there and say every line before it's said, because that's how well I know it. It's a chick flick. It's a bit like a young adult one. If you watched it growing up, I think you love it. If you've never seen it, you won't like it. It's one of those movies where it's like, I've talked to someone and they were like, oh, I was like too old when that came out, like just didn't click. Why, like I'm like, I could watch that on repeat. It's amazing. They want to go to Paris is shit. They end up in Monte Carlo. Another good rom-com, bit of a newer one, but it's Anyone But You. I think this one's good. I think for like a 2020s rom-com, it was really good, done really well. There's not many rom-coms that come out these days that I think live up to the standards of those early 2000 ones, like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This one I think makes a great dent, does really well standing on its own. I really like Sydney Sweeney in it. Glenn Powell, he's really funny. I understand the Australian part, like the Australian characters, they're a bit far-fetched. So I don't know if I love that part, but I think it's a good movie and it's sweet. And it does make you feel good. An all-time favorite of mine is Mamma Mia. You can go no wrong. You can go no wrong. I'll never forget that about a little while ago. I was actually watching the news. And it was too overwhelming. Something big just happened in the news. And I remember being like, I can't watch this. Like I'm so devastated. I'm really upset. And I sat down. And actually lied down. I was in bed and I watched Mamma Mia. My mum came in and she like watched it with me because me and mum grew up watching it together. I think Mamma Mia is such a good feel-good movie. I think it makes me really happy. It's catchy. It's a sing-along. There's talks of Mamma Mia 3. Book me in it, coach. Book me in it, please. I'll take one for the team. I'm pretty sure Sabrina Carpenter's going to be in it too. So like happy to share a set with her. And Amanda, I love Amanda. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite actresses. The girl who plays Sophie, I just think she's brilliant. She does so many good things. And Mamma Mia is definitely a highlight. And she's like the most beautifulest girl in the world. Like I will never forget how pretty she looks in that bathing suit. Her dive wasn't great into the dock to the boat. I always think could have been better. We could have done take 2 on that, but whatever. But that like one piece, oh, she's a stunner. The next one this one isn't like romantic comedy. I would say it's probably a drama, but it's The Fundamentals of Caring. I don't know why this one holds a soft spot in my heart. I just think it's funny. I think it's got some funny moments. It's about a kid who wants to go see the deepest pit in the world or in America, and he goes on a road trip and he's got a disease, I can't remember what it's called, but he's like paralyzed, and it's about him and his carer, and they go on a trip to see the world's deepest pit. And it's funny. Paul Rudd's in it, who's really good in it. I just think it's a pretty good one. And then the last one, this one also isn't isn't really a feel-good movie. It's a romance, but it's a romance drama. It's a Nicholas Sparks one. So, you know, like, be wary, because sometimes these are heart-wrenching and like do great. It's not The Notebook. That one's sadder, in my opinion. But The Notebook is so good. The Notebook is so good. But this one is Dear John. Again, it's got Sophie from Mamma Mia in it. Like I said, I love Amanda. It's also got Channing Tatum. He's really good in this movie. And it's Dear John. And it's really good. It's about a guy who has to go off and fight in the war, and he leaves the love of his life at home, and then she finds someone new. So it's actually sad. It's actually sad. And apparently I watched an interview really recently with Amanda, and she said, oh, like, spoiler alert, they kind of end up together. It's not 100% guaranteed, but the last shot is like, she's sitting in a cafe, he parks his bike, and then they look at each other, and I think he walks in. He might not even sit down, or at least you see each other like have a nice moment. And apparently originally they weren't supposed to end up together, and I remember read the book, and I can't remember in the book if they end up together. Like, they might have not, I can't remember, but the movie apparently they really weren't going to end up together, and then they had to go back and shoot it because it was like an uproar. They probably did like a screen test, and then people were like, what the fuck is this? Let's have some more hope. So then there's like a hint that they end up together. So I guess it's not like a really lighthearted feel-good movie, but it is a good movie. And I think because I've watched it so many times, it kind of gives me comfort, and I like it. The start of it's really nice, but then 9/11 happens, and it kind of goes to shit because he decides to like keep fighting, which is like good on him, but he doesn't come home. And then, okay, it's pretty emotional. Anyway, I feel like I should find one more because that wasn't the like happiest note to end on. So give me a second, I'm gonna think of one more. Okay, the last one I'm gonna give you is What Happens in Vegas. This is definitely more lighthearted. I think this is a really funny movie. It's got Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher in it. They both end up in Vegas, and they accidentally get married, and then they're forced to live with each other to try and keep the money that they won in a jackpot on a casino, like on the pulley down, the slot machine, and what they won on the slot machine. It's really funny. There's got some hilarious moments between the two of them in the apartment. Even like the montage scene at the start where they're like partying together is great. A classic rom-com, I think. It gives the same vibes as How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I think it's like really up there with that movie. It's probably like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and then What Happens in Vegas is like two of my all-time favorites. So if you haven't watched it, 100% watch. These two are hilarious together, and a rom-com, but like an actual like funny comedy, like moments where you literally laugh out loud, and they're trying to pull each other. They're trying to like get the other one in trouble so that they can win the money, and they don't have to split it. Like the therapy scene, so funny. The scene where like she has to have the bed and it's filled with like Jack's dirty clothes, and when he pours like the popcorn down his pants, like there's just so many moments in it where I think it's hilarious. So that would be my last feel-good movie. And that comes to the end of this episode. The entire episode of feel-good moments. I hope that you can take some of them and put them into your life. Go watch a movie, go read a book, go follow some better social media accounts that will bring you light. If you have TikTok, you can go to the following section on TikTok and you only get videos from people you're following. Can cut out some of the negativity that comes up on feeds, especially if you're having a bit of a rough day. Let me know if there's any feel-good media that you try and put into your daily life or that you've seen before that I haven't mentioned today. I would love to know so I can add it to my list, to watch, to read, to follow. I just feel like we all could do with a bit more positivity at the moment, personally. Yeah, so I would love to know your suggestions. Let me know if you do take on any of my suggestions today, and if you follow, watch anything I like, give me your opinions. I would love to hear it. You can do that by reaching out to me on Instagram at Yapping Fever. My personal Instagram is at Tamara.Barton. My TikTok is also at Tamara.Barton. Wherever you listen to this podcast, hit subscribe. I'm on YouTube and Spotify. Hit subscribe on both if you're feeling generous, and share this episode with a friend so you can give your friend something to look forward to, some positive suggestions, and help spread the word about yapping fever. Thanks so much everyone for listening. Bye.